Oh, this is Barry O'Connell. And let's take a look at Maryland politics as it stands right now. Period. The biggest news, in my opinion, is President Obama endorsing Also Brooks. Things in the race are getting a little bit contentious. Let me explain. The Hogan team is raising a lot of money. They're going out to the hardcore MAGA Republicans, particularly the billionaires nationwide, and raising money for Larry Hogan. It doesn't matter whether he gets along with Trump. They know that if he's in the Senate, he'll be a solid Trump vote, period. They even have Harlan Crow. Now, some of you are going, who's Harlan Crow? Harlan Crow is the old white billionaire that's been bankrolling uh, Clarence Thomas for years. Thomas's mother needed a house. Harlan Crow bought him a house. Uh, Clarence Thomas wants to go on vacations around the world, yachts and private jets and all those things. Harlan Crow pays for it, period. When they set up the Supreme Court in our Constitution, they never really anticipated that there would be a Clarence Thomas who would sell his soul to fat cat billionaires like Harlan Crow. And now Harlan Crow is coming into Maryland and putting money into the Senate race, period. Keep in mind, Larry Hogan may be a nice teddy bear of a guy, but if he's in office, guys like Harlan Crow call the shots because they're the people who put up the money to put him in office. Watch out for Hogan. This is why it's important that President Obama came in, and she's getting a lot of support right now, so it's a good sign. In our group, we ran a survey, and pretty consistently, straight across the board, um, 3-1 for Angela. It was 74, 75. It got as high as 76%. But no matter how many votes there were, pretty consistently 3-1. Another big news that's good for Angela and good for Maryland is the port workers. Period. The Longshoremen's Union has recommended to their people that they accept the current offer, and it's a huge pay increase for them. It's important because the port is a big part of the Maryland economy in ways that a lot of people don't even realize. That guy there with a rope in the picture makes pretty good money. And then he gets hungry or wants a drink, and he stops at local businesses like Jimmy's Famous Seafood. The question is, who's got the best crab cakes in Maryland? Well, I don't care. Everybody's got their own favorite place to go for crab cakes. Mine happens to be Jimmy's. But realistically, good, solid Maryland businesses depend a great deal on things like the longshoremen. And so it's good for Maryland business and Maryland people that the strike is ending. And my suggestion is go get some crab cakes at Jimmy's and tell me what you think. One person who has a huge impact on Maryland that I don't think we always appreciate properly is our good looking First Lady, Dawn Moore. She's somebody special. It's hard. I don't want to offend her husband, the governor, but Westmore never ran for anything before governor. So, how did a guy with no political experience maneuver so carefully through Maryland politics? My opinion, he wouldn't be governor today without Dawn. Period. People tend to forget that she was a very serious player on the state level back 20 years ago or so. She was chief of staff for Lieutenant Governor Anthony Brown. Period. Now, Anthony was close with the bosses, Mike Miller and Mike Bush. And Dawn had to deal with those guys. and she was very successful at it. Period. Just because she hasn't been in politics in a number of years doesn't mean she doesn't know where all the bodies are buried in Maryland. She knows her stuff, and it's great to see her do things like cocktails and Converse. You know, the idea of dressing up and wearing sneakers, it's a fun, silly idea, but it's a glamorous event for the people of Maryland. She's super. She's going to make a great First Lady of the United States when she puts her husband. Excuse me, I mean when Governor West wins the presidency. Not all news has been really good this week. Um, an important court case came down, and it's hard to sum it up shortly and succinctly, but let me try. A contractor named Marquez just got convicted for wage theft, and he stole hundreds of thousands of dollars from his workers on prevailing wage public sector contracts. So you put in a new field for the University of Maryland, and you have to pay your workers a certain level by law. Well, he paid them less, but put on the books that he paid them full pay and pocketed the difference, but he didn't pocket all of it. People know that. Um, did officials from the University of Maryland get involved with the kickbacks, with the payoffs, with the wage theft? Possibly. There's rumors that it's going to spread to the contracts on the Baltimore, excuse me, not Baltimore, Prince George's County Public Schools. They built all these new schools. Was there wage theft on those? That's the word I'm getting. Did they pay off council people? Well, the rumor I hear, the name that pops up most often is Ed Burrows. Um, maybe I'm tough on Ed because he lied to me, and I don't like people who lied to me. But after the councilman in District 8, Washington, D.C., got indicted, and now this Marquez conviction. And don't be surprised if this spreads out. I think we're going to see a fair number of people whose name popped up on the FBI wiretaps that are going to be on state or federal charges. Turning aside from Prince George's County, let's take a look at Baltimore County. They have a question coming up on expanding the number of council seats. And not only that, but changing the map, period. This is turning into a real tough fight in between the good and decent people, excuse me, I mean the Democrats and those nefarious Republicans and their minions. David Marks, longtime Republican councilman in Baltimore County, doesn't want to lose any power. In fact, I understand that he's got things rigged right now, that he's cut a deal where he's going to influence this whole thing and stick his um, aide, Lang, what's his name? Brandon Lang, is going to get a council seat out of this whole deal, period. Their ace in the hole is a Democrat who plays ball with the Republicans. Maryland delegate Carl Jackson is known as a DINO, a dino, Democrat in name only. You know, he plays ball with the Republicans locally, votes with the speaker in Annapolis, and he's the sort of person who can work this game where he can play games in Baltimore County to help entrench himself and strengthen his position. In fact, there's now talk that they're going to try and put Carl in as state senator. I hope that doesn't happen. He's a stinker. I don't think much of the fellow, but it is what it is. Lots going on statewide, and we're going to continue to report what we get. Some people get mad at me because I don't know everything. Some people get mad at me because I know too much. But here's the thing about this. If you have a story you think needs to be heard, let me know. And if you don't want me to use your name, I will never burn a source, period. So most of my best stories come from people across Maryland who reach out to me and want to keep themselves out of the story, but let people know what's going on. And I love you. I appreciate all the people who helped me on this. Have a great week, and I'll be back soon. I'm probably going to do some other programs. I want to talk about the upcoming wars that the United States is going to be involved in and how we can view them reasonably.